Is Jalen Duren the next Shawn Kemp? Dwane Casey seems to think so. I was watching Summer League about a week ago, and we got to talk about this guy, Jalen Duren. I don't think we've devoted a video to him on this channel post being drafted, or at least not much of one. I want to talk about Jalen Duren. And first off, let me just say his name. It's Jalen Duren, but you want to say Jalen Duren. Like it just sounds better. So I'm going to interchange that. That's the baby boomer in me. So don't worry about it. I'm a baby boomer at heart. But anyways, like here's what we're looking at with this guy, Jalen Duren. He is an athletic marvel. He is an athletic freak. 6'11", 215 pounds at 18 years old. It's not a fat 250. It's a muscular 250. The dude is like something I haven't seen. Like when you look at that body type coming out of college, coming into the pros their first year, you can't help but think of guys like Shaquille O'Neal, Dwight Howard. I mean, these guys that come out and you're like, it just doesn't make sense. Now, stop before you go and be like, oh, Craig over at Sports Talk Detroit, he just compared Jalen Duren to Shaquille O'Neal and he compared him to Dwight Howard. No, I did not. No, I did not. But Dwane Casey compared him to Shawn Kemp, and I think that's a pretty good player, don't you? Seattle Supersonics, like those were some fun times with Shawn Kemp, and that dude just absolutely rocked the rim. So let's talk a little bit about why Dwane Casey might feel this way and what Jalen Duren could bring to the Pistons. We're going to talk about that. But first, let's temper our expectations and talk about what we can expect from him right now this year. I think in Summer League, you saw a little bit of both. You saw just raw talent and the excitement, and you saw how Jalen Duren is going to make it hard on Dwane Casey and the Pistons front office not to play him this year, especially in the first two games when you saw him playing first with Killian Hayes and Jaden Ivey, and you had those other great playmakers. He proved that he is almost already ready right now as a jumpy jump lob threat guy, vertical spacing. You hear me talk about that all the time. And not a defensive anchor, but a guy who is going to go after and block a lot of shots that are put up in his, area. So like he's proven that he can do those two things. But there was something that I looked at, and it was the third game. It was the third game, which I believe was the final game he played. And that's when it was basically him with a bunch of just random guys. Isaiah Livers wasn't playing. Killian Hayes wasn't playing. Isaiah Stewart wasn't playing. Jaden Ivey had the sprained ankle. And so all of a sudden, what you see is a guy that doesn't have a lot of talent around him, and he really struggled to create his own shot. That's not something that's in his game right now, is to create his own shot. You saw quite a few of the 10 to 15 foot, like back you down, turn around, jump shot. None of them got even close to getting far enough to go in the hoop. And that's where he showed you that, okay, he's 18 years old. His game is not refined yet. But here's the other good things coming off of that. His jump shot doesn't look broken. His free throw form actually looks pretty good. I had heard some kind of horror stories about how his arm would go and almost look like a video game where the ball would be gone, but his hand would still be back here. I didn't see any of that. I saw a pretty good release from the free throw line. So I think in the future, you can be looking at a guy in 4, 5, 6 years that is putting up over 70% easily from the free throw line. He might be a pick and pop mid-range guy if he's not always rolling. Things like that could be possible. Maybe that 10 to 15 foot baseline shot where a lot of centers can find a kind of a little happy space to hit a couple of those a game. Those are all things in the future. But I don't know if it's year one. And I know we have this log jam at the center position. You have Jalen Duren, you have Isaiah Stewart, you have Marvin Bagley. I think those are the three guys that Pistons fans want to see the most of. And then you have the other two guys, and I'm not sure. You guys tell me where you are on this on the comments. You have Nerlens Noel and you have Kelly Olynyk. I don't have a need to see those guys play very often, but they're going to get minutes. The truth is, when you have a big man rotation, if Isaiah Stewart can play the 4, there's enough minutes for all three of them to get good minutes and continue in growth. But if Olynyk and Noel are stealing any of those minutes, all of a sudden it gets really jumbled really fast. And I think Pistons fans are going to be frustrated when you're only seeing Jalen Duren playing 10 minutes a game. So don't be shocked if you see him playing a number of games in the G League. Then maybe if there's an injury or there's a back-to-back or something like that, all of a sudden you see him come up, play a game with the Pistons. I don't know exactly what this is going to look like. And Dwane Casey has 3 months to figure it out. And so which is kind of cool. I love that about the NBA offseason. It feels like the season just ended because the NBA Finals ended a month ago, and then you had the draft right away, and then you had the summer league that's ending really today, tomorrow, and today, yesterday. Anyways, and all of a sudden, 3 months. That's it, 3 months, and we're back at it again. So looking forward to it. But I want to temper expectations. But now let's talk about the upside of it. Why would Dwane Casey on a national broadcast make such a bold comparison? Because he sees something special. This is like when Troy Weaver talked about how Sadiq Bey was one of the hardest workers he's ever been around. You only get to do that with one player each year or in multiple years. And then Dwane Casey, for him to give that high of praise after only watching Jalen Duren play for a few practices and things like that, basically what Dwane Casey is saying is this guy athletically is about as gifted as I've ever seen. The body, the jumping ability, things like that. He has all the tools to be a phenomenal player in this league and to be a highlight reel type of player. So I think that's what we can expect out of him. I think people make comparisons all the time. You want Jalen Duren to be Dwight Howard. You want him to be all these things. Really, what you want him to be is like I can think of different centers around the league where it's like, hey, maybe he is just a little more athletic version of Clint Capella, a little bigger version of Clint Capella. I think of someone like that, and it's like, man, if that's what he can provide, but a little more athletic, like that's fantastic. Maybe he's a little bit stronger version of Nerlens Noel, who's on our team right now. And Noel carved out a really good career, not being a very big guy, like 6'11, 210, 220. Jalen Duren's already got 30 pounds on him, but I wouldn't put Noel's jumping ability or anything like that above Duren. So, like, when you look at what his ability could be, it's awesome. And I think too, you have to realize, hey, layups worth two, just like a dunk. But when you dunk the ball like he can dunk the ball, and you can posterize people, you have to take into account what momentum does for the team too. When you have people that are scoring in immaculate ways rather than just ordinary ways, the team feeds off that energy. When you're getting that big block that came out of nowhere, the team feeds off that energy because it's an unexpected play. He has the ability to do that right away. So I don't know. Tell me what you think. Do you think he is going to be playing 82 games for the Pistons this year? If he stays healthy, or do you think he's going to spend some time in the G League? Do you think maybe he spends a lot of the first half of the year in the G League and then he plays with the Pistons the back half of the year? I don't know. There's a lot of different thought processes I have going on. But right now, it seems like the thing he has to work on most is defense, understanding where he needs to be, the defensive rotations, the not going after every single ball, the not like, he's grabbing people, he's finding himself running into people in places he shouldn't be. And the G League is not known for defense. So the best place to learn that might be with the Pistons. I don't know. I lean toward he's with the big club sooner than later, but I don't want him with the Pistons just to sit on the bench every game. If he's going to be doing that, get him in the G League, get him some run, and let him know how to do that. But I would love to see him practicing with Killian and Cade and Jaden Ivey and these guys to develop that chemistry going down the line. So let me know what you think. Jalen Duren, no doubt about it. We got an athletically wonderful player. Seems to be a good guy too, and seems to just want to come in, put his head down, go to work, and you have to love that too. Hey, hit that subscribe button below if you haven't yet. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, we have a ton of videos out. We try and do a video each and every day on Pistons or Lions, and because we love Detroit sports. So hit that comment or hit that subscribe below and comment on the video. Let us know what you think about Jalen Duren. All right, have a good one. See you.